We've got some readings in Jeremiah and continuing in Ezekiel. And let's go to Ezekiel chapter 4. And God's giving some strange instructions for Ezekiel. Verse 4, lie on your left side, place the punishment of Israel upon it. For the number of days that you lie on it, you shall bear their punishment. I assign you a number of days, 390 days, equal to the number of years of their punishment. And when you have completed these, verse 6, you shall lie down a second time, but on your right, and bear the punishment of the house of Judah. 40 days I assign you. And he's going to give him directions about his food and what he's going to eat and all these kinds of things and how he's going to cook it. And he's like, verse 14, Lord God, I've never defiled myself from my youth till now. I've never eaten what died of itself or was torn by beasts, nor has tainted meat come. He said, look, I've kept myself pure according to the law, and I don't intend to start now. This is not okay. And so God gives provision for that. But all of this is to speak to a people, and it's strange and it's odd. But why is it necessary? Well, go back to Jeremiah, and things were tough, right? And that's what causes people to rebel. In chapter 27, the king of Nebuchadnezzar, things are not good. And so chapter 28, there's this false prophet, and he wants the people to think, well, it's going to be fine. And Jeremiah's like, no, it's not the message. It's not the time. You're not from God. I've put them here in this place. I've put this iron over them, and this person, Nebuchadnezzar, over them. They're not getting out until the right time, in other words. What? Because everyone wants a shortcut, right? And so false prophets, like, oh, don't worry about it. God's not going to make us go through all this hard stuff. And I think too many of us understand by now that the hard stuff is part of the deal. The hard stuff is allowed by God. And in those hard times and hard seasons and hard things that not always of our own doing, but sometimes they very well may be because it's part of God's discipline, God's working out his purposes. And we can't short circuit that. It'd be nice to, right? There's things that I wish I would just fix and do in a moment's notice, but it doesn't always work that way. You can ask, but then like Paul, you have to get to a place of contentment. If he gives you release, then great. If he says wait, then you gotta wait. But in that perseverance, God's building steadfastness and character and all those things that James talks about. So don't despise those difficult days or seasons or the discipline of the Lord, if that's what it happens to be in your life. Embrace it. Draw near to the Lord. Don't look for those that would get you out of things in a hurry if it's not the Lord. You only want God's best, not man's substitution, not the enemy's subtle lies that would tear you away from God's best and from learning and growing and maturing in faith and being a blessing to others. Till next time, keep growing little by little.